Hello, hello. I hope you're having a great day. This is our last act of Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. So remember that all of the lovers were put into a dream, a sleep, and they remember, the only thing that they remember is that they're dreaming, that all this stuff occurred, so they won't think it really happened. And then even bottom two, everybody was changed back to normal. And so now that Lysander and Hermia and Demetrius and Helena can now get married at Theseus's wedding. And so this Act 5, Scene 1, which there's only one scene. The scene is in Theseus's palace in Athens. The marriages of Theseus and Hippolyta, Lysander and Hermia, and Demetrius and Helena have all taken place. So all three couples have gotten married. The wedding feast is over and they've eaten. And now the company is gathered to watch the citizens of Athens perform something for them. So this is when if the clowns get to do their play or not. So Theseus is speaking to the young lovers. Joy, gentle friends, joy in fresh days of love. Accompany your hearts. What revels are in hand? Is there no play? Call Philostrate. So Philostrate is Theseus's master of revels to Theseus, and he comes forward. And the master of revels is like the party planner. Philostrate says, "Here, mighty Theseus, say what you have for this evening. What dance? What music? How shall we beguile this lazy time, if not with some delight?" So he's saying, who's going to perform for us? Here's a list of those that are ready. Make choice for which your highness will see first. He gives Theseus a paper to look over. Theseus dismisses some and then comes to the clown's play. And he's reading, a tedious brief scene of young Pyramus and his love Thisbe, very tragical mirth, merry and tragical, tedious and brief. That is hot ice and very strange snow. Who are they that do perform it? So that's like an oxymoron, right? Merry and tragical and tedious and brief and hot ice and snow. So that's oxymorons. But who's performing it? And Philostrate says, hardworking men of Athens who have never labored with their minds till now. So he's saying they're hardworking men, but they don't use their mind to work until now for this play. Theseus says, we will hear it. So they get to do their play. No, my noble lord, it is not for you. I have heard it. Theseus, however, is touched that some of the simple, hardworking Athenians have prepared a play to help celebrate his wedding. Theseus, I will hear that play, for never anything can be amiss when simpleness and duty tender it. Go bring them in. Take your places, ladies. Philostrate leaves to find Quince Bottom and the rest of the players. They enter and take their places. Snout covered with mud. Limestone is the wall. He begins the play. So remember, they didn't have props, so they had to play a wall. In this play, it doth befall that I, one Snout, by name, represent a wall. And such a wall as I would have you think, that had it a hole or a chink, through which thy lovers Pyramus and Thisbe did whisper often, very secretly. So he's playing the wall, and there's a hole in the wall for Pyramus and Thisbe to speak because they're not allowed to see each other. And so then here you see Demetrius and Theseus and Hippolyta and all them watching the play, and you see the men performing the play, and that's bottom, and then the wall. He parts his fingers to make the chink, and a chink is a hole. So Pyramus is really bottom, playing the part. Oh, grim night, oh, night so black, oh, night, alack, alack, alack. And thou, O wall, O sweet, O lovely wall, that standest between her father's ground and mine, show me thy chink to blink through mine eyes. The wall holds his fingers open, so Thisbe enters on the other side of the wall. So the wall opens. O wall, often hast thou heard my moans for parting my fair Pyramus and me. So Thisbe's like, oh, I love him so much. Why does this wall have to part us? Pyramus says, I see a voice. Now I think to the chink to see if I can hear my Thisbe's face. It should be the opposite around, but you know, they're silly men. Thou art my love, I think. Will thou meet me straight away at Ninny's tomb? I come without delay. Pyramus and Thisbe exit, they both go. And Wall says, thus have I, Wall played my part so, and being done, this wall does go. And the wall exits. But Hippolyta says, this is the silly stuff I've ever heard. And Theseus says, if we think no worse of them than they think of themselves, they are excellent men. Look, here come the two noble beasts in, a man and a lion. Snug enters as the lion and a starveling enters as moonshine. Lion, you ladies whose gentle hearts do fear the smallest mouse that creeps on the floor, you may perhaps both quake and tremble here when lion rough in the wildest rage doth roar. Then know that I am Snug the joiner, no fierce lion. So he's just warning them he's going to play a lion part and don't really be afraid of him because he's a person. And then Moonshine says, this lantern doth the moon represent, and myself am the moon, the man in the moon. So Thisbe enters. So Moonshine says he's the man in the moon. And Thisbe enters and says, this is old Ninny's tomb. Where is my love? So Thisbe and Pyramus are supposed to meet here. The lion roars and Thisbe runs away. Well roared, lion, Demetrius says. Well run, Thisbe, Theseus says. Well shown, Moon, Hippolytus says. Thisbe has dropped her cloak and left it behind. The lion picks it up in his bloody mouth and then drops it and exits. Pyramus enters. Pyramus, sweet moon, I thank thee for thy light. I thank thee, moon, for shining now so bright. Suddenly he sees Thisbe's cloak lying on the ground all covered with blood. He believes that the lion has eaten his love. What dreadful sight here, eyes do you see, when love's cloak stained with blood? Come tears, out sword. Oh, he stabs himself. Thus I die. Thus. Now I'm dead. Dead. He dies. Here comes Thisbe and her passionate speech ends the play. Because see, she wasn't dead. He should have looked around for her before he killed himself. It was the lion had just eaten. So he picked up the cloak and his mouth was bloody. And it got blood on her coat, which is a cloak. And then he thought she was dead, but she's not. So Theseus says, here comes Thisbe and her passionate speech ends the play. Hippolytus says, methinks she should not use a long one. For such as a Pyramus, I hope she will be brief. Thisbe enters and sees Pyramus lying on the ground. Asleep, my love? And this is Puck. What, dead, my dove? Oh, Pyramus, arise, speak. Dead. She takes Pyramus's sword. Come, trusty sword, come blade my breast. She stabs herself. And farewell, friends, thus Thisbe ends. She dies. Theseus says, Moonshine and Lion are left to bury the dead. I and Wall too. Bottom sitting up. No, I assure you, will it please you to see the epilogue? Remember, the epilogue is at the end of something. And Theseus says, no epilogue, I pray you. It was a fine tragedy and very well played. Let your epilogue alone. But come, lovers, to bed, it's almost fairy time. This play hath well beguiled the heavy gate of night. Sweet friends, to bed. And look, Theseus said it's almost fairy time. So they did know about the fairies. So the entire group exits, leaving the great hall silent, and Puck enters. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended. Think that you have slumbered here while these visions did appear. So he's saying, think that it's all a dream, but it really did happen. And he exits. And that's the end of it. So the clowns got to do the play for the Duke's wedding. Everybody loved it. It was hilarious. And remember, it's called The Most Lamentable Comedy because it was funny. And Cruel Death of Pyramus and Thisbe. And it's because Pyramus and Thisbe died because Pyramus killed himself thinking Thisbe had died. And then Thisbe killed herself knowing Pyramus had died. So it was a tragedy, but it was a funny one because the men made it funny. I hope you enjoyed our Midsummer Night's Dream. And I hope you understand why it's called a dream now, because at the end, they were all put in a spell dream. So they thought it was a dream as everybody was fixed. And now we have Hermia and Lysander loving each other, and Helena and Demetrius, and then Theseus and Hippolyta got married. All three got married. And then the men playing the play got to perform as well. So I hope you enjoyed our story. It was a silly one, but fun. And I will see you soon.